I reviewed the Sony DualSense controller last week, and the new Microsoft Xbox controller just arrived. Let's see if it works with the Model 3. Here is the Amazon webpage. I'm surprised that Microsoft doesn't name their controllers, so I'd like to dub this the Xbox Series controller. First, a quick unboxing. Just cut the tape in the front and the box easily opens, revealing the controller inside. The new Xbox controller looks remarkably similar to the previous generation. The biggest change is the additional button to the center, the share button. It has a similar function to the one on the Sony DualShock 4 and new DualSense. The D-pad looks like a cross between the previous generation and the Elite controller. Looking at the bottom, we have the headphone jack and expansion port. On the front, we have a new USB-C port that replaces the micro USB port on the previous generation. On the bottom is the battery cover, and we can insert AA batteries in this space or rechargeables. And I popped some AA batteries in to test it out. When used in the car with the USB-C cable, no batteries are required. The trigger buttons have been modified and now have tactile dots for grip and a slightly upgraded shape. The underside of the grip area has a nice texture as seen here. The surface has a completely black matte finish on this controller. And like the Sony DualSense, the new Xbox controller is shipped without a USB-C cable. I will use the one that I already have on hand in the car. As I mentioned in the previous video, when using a controller, always center the steering wheel. If it's off to the left or to the right, it will affect the controller. Sometimes the direction controls will not work at all on the game controller. Notice that the Xbox button is not lit when I plug in the cable. For some reason the controller did not like this particular cable, and I had to switch it out for a different one. This 6-foot USB-C cable works with our Nintendo Switch. Let's test that one out. And right away the light turns on, so that's a good sign. Opening up the game screen, let's look at some of the older classic games. First up, let's try Millipede. And as you can see, the left stick and the A button for fire seem to be working fine. Next up, we'll try Tempest. And again with this game, using the left stick we control left and right movement, and pressing the A and B button we control shooting and bombs. Now let's look at some of the newer games. Beach Buggy Racing 2. And the controller works well in the menus and selecting the options. And in the game we have the left stick controlling direction and the right trigger controlling acceleration. and the other buttons we can use for the different action functions. The last recent game that uses a controller is Cuphead. Let's start it up and check it out. So the controller stick and buttons work well in the menu and also in the gameplay itself. And in conclusion, this feels like a solid controller and works well with the Model 3 and Model Y. And since the controller is backwards compatible with previous Xbox systems, it's not surprising that everything performs great with the Model 3 collection of arcade games. I know that these controllers are $60 and generic ones for $20 are a superior option with regard to cost. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.